Hey, all right, whoa, yeah, welcome to this episode of Black Beat Podcast. No, where we're unapologetically black in our efforts to put forth content and information about our communities that would uplift them and inspire them to move to a greater place. This afternoon, we got a special guest, Mr. Posey, James Posey, from the president of the NAACP Portland chapter. Mr. Jarrell, what is it about Mr. Posey that you'd like to share with us today, and tell these people a little bit about this man sitting in here?
Well, there's a lot to say. I'll be honest, when I was reading your bio and I was told to cut it short, I was struggling because there's a lot of good stuff. So this is what I came up with. James Posey has lived in Northwest Portland for 40 years. After a tour of Vietnam, he has worked in mental health after receiving his master's in education from Wichita State. James is the owner of Workhouse Construction Metro Inc. and founded and worked for various organizations to help the advancement of black people, including the NAACP, the Black Parent Initiative, and much more. And yes, there's a lot more.
Man, I know. Is it done yet?
No.
Okay, go on with it, bro.
There's too much. I couldn't.
It's still Mo?
Yeah.
Lots more.
And he is currently a member of the Community Oversight Advisory Committee for the I-5 Rose Quarter Expansion Project and sits on the Work Systems, Inc. Board of Directors.
Right on. Well, hey. Y'all welcome my brother James Posey to the show today. And hey, man, when I heard you got this seat in this bed, I said, oh boy, it's time to go to work. This boy always got people working.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Welcome, James, to the show today, man.
Thank you.
And congratulations again, man, for that win, which was victory. Tell us a little bit about it, man. How you feeling about it all today?
Well, John, first of all, thank you for inviting me. I mean, I didn't know you was this sophisticated. I didn't know you had all this going on.
You funny. I didn't know you just drove trucks for a living.
Yeah. Well, you build yourself as a media guy, and you're the real deal, man.
Thank you,
I
James.
want to let people to know this is no low riding stuff.
No, man. No.
It's flying high. So I want to thank you for inviting me, and just to be honest with you, this NAACP thing was something I was not necessarily wanting to do.
Wow.
I'm 77 years old.
Yeah, you was ready to go out to retire, right?
I wanted to take over your fishing spot.
Oh!
That's what I wanted to do.
Well, I got a boat, James, and I got enough room for you.
Yeah, well, I'm still waiting on my fish. That's another story.
Yes, sir. We'll talk about that off the cuff, right?
Yeah, we'll talk about that. But the NAACP thing is not something I necessarily wanted to do. But here's the deal, man. We, as a community, we have to really appreciate the institutions that we have. We don't have that many. Yeah. And if we neglect those institutions, trust me, something bad's going to happen in those institutions. Unless those of us who have a moral conscience, we're about community. And want to see our community do something better than what it is. As I read in my installation ceremony, we have the highest incarceration rate. We have the highest disparity in education. Our health disparity are the highest. We're the lowest in home ownership. We are the lowest in business ownership per se. We broke. We have the lowest wealth number than any other ethnic group. I could go on and on and on and on.
Well, yeah.
At the end of the day, we're in trouble. Trust me on that.
Can I ask you a question?
Sure.
Are you surprised?
No, I'm not surprised. I've been living it all my life. I've been living this all my life. I'm from Indianapolis, Indiana, And if you all ever been to Indianapolis, right around the corner,
Shit, boy.
St. Louis,
It's a place of madness. I know that.
south of Chicago, Cincinnati, it's all in the midst of all that craziness. Everything that's possible that can happen in the city. I ain't trying to hate on my hometown, but at the end of the day, if you can live in Indianapolis, you can live anywhere.
Yeah.
They say.
Except for South Carolina, you can't live.
Oh, here we go.
Okay, well,
Here we go.
we can match all that. We can match all
No,
that.
it's not about matching. Y'all come after us.
Oh, okay.
We the Confederate state.
And it begins.
And it's
Nah,
red can be.
Yeah, well, but the
You know, Santoni sitting over there, he talking about the bottom down there in Miami.
yeah, but
You know,
the point I want to make is black people across the country are living the same existence.
Yeah, man.
Regardless
Yeah.
of where you, whether it be Florida, whether it be Oakland,
It's
we're
planned.
all,
It was a plan.
Yeah,
and continues
yeah,
to go on.
absolutely. But you know, I'm not here to talk about ain't it awful. I'm talking about what we can do.
yeah, that's what I'm thinking, because
Well, it's always going to, you know, I mean, we should be very, very cognizant of the fact that we've been able to survive all this mess.
oh, talk to me, baby. Yeah.
We-
Or
Yeah.
that mess that came just before this, which,
well,
which had me in, kind of shackled.
Oh yeah,
that was
yeah,
a serious mess as well.
Well, even that ride over on the boat was a testimony.
Absolutely.
It was a testimony to our
Yeah, I'm trying to tell you.
Only people that could survive all that.
All that mess we are. And you know, have you guys saw the movie with Will
Oh, yeah, Harris was talking to me the other day.
Emancipation.
Emancipation.
Man, that's
That's the
thing
land
was-
that I was born in.
Lord.
All that swamp land and all that, from Carolina.
Louisiana, yeah.
No, Carolina.
Oh, you a Geechee?
I'm a Geechee, I'm a Gullah,
I
yeah, I'm a
didn't know.
Geechee.
I didn't know.
Well, that's all right. We all got that root in that blood.
Well, my point in the end, I'm going back to the NAACP. It was it was a vehicle. It's a platform that was out there for the taking.
So what inspired you, James, to want to look in that direction? I mean, because after all, the sister that was running things over there, she seemed to have a sense or a grasp on what sort of direction she wanted to take the NAACP. Is it the same direction you want to go in, or do you see a need to change directions with her plan, and are you coming with your own plan?
Well, I'm coming with my own plan. I mean, I've been doing, like I said, I've been doing this for a long time. I have boots on the ground kind of experience. You know, a lot of people want to play this. They want to use the, you know, you look back at the leadership of the NAACP, and it's people that are, you know, want to use it, put it on their resume. They want to use it as a stepping stone to other places. They want to do everything except what they're supposed to do with it. And I'm not that guy. As I told people in my little speech, this is not James Posey's NAACP. This is your NAACP.
Yes, sir. It's ours, right.
It's a vehicle for you and your community to use to make things better, to improve on our condition. And, you know, it's no, you know, situation where James Posey's going to sit up there and sort of like demand all this stuff. This is a lean in on the part of everybody in this community.
Right.
And I intend to operate it in such a way that if you want to work in the NAACP, if you have some issues that you want to, execute on, that's the key word, execute.
Yes, sir,
Not
today.
All that, you know, all that yang talking.
Yeah, with acceleration.
Their suit and all that
Yeah.
stuff. No, that's not where we're going. But this is NAACP. It will be a boots on the ground. I can give you an example of the boots on the ground thing. That NAACP office up at the Lloyd Center sat vacant for 2 years almost.
Oh, wow, during the COVID time? Really?
I can understand to some degree why it would be. I mean, the whole Lloyd Center is set vacant.
Yeah, I'm trying to tell you. Yeah, that's another economic disaster.
But at the end of the day, we could not afford to have any resource setting still.
Yeah.
Because we're already behind, and we're going to make that NAACP available to the community if they want to have meetings there. The other day I was went over to Matt Dishman, and I saw Mariah Taylor. You all know who Mariah Taylor
I do. Yeah, over at Matt, yeah.
You know, I was struck by, you know, she's on Facebook, and sometimes I see this woman out there, a woman 83 years old, out there trying to rescue the broken. You know, she's out there trying to give people shoes, trying to keep them warm, kind of, you know, going into these rough situations with people shooting each other.
Yeah.
This is a black woman, 83 years old. And I'm asking myself, where are the black men trying to help this sister get this thing done?
Ooh, there we go. You done stepped right in the middle of it.
So, you know, I think when we're sitting around here as black men, we can do better. We can't let people like that who is basically risking their lives out here trying to help our people at the lowest end of where we would be. I told her the other day, I said, I wouldn't go over there. I'm a grown man, and you know, I pack sometime, whether people know it or not. So, you know,
yes, sir.
If I wouldn't go in there, how are you gonna be going down in them holes? Where everything imaginable is there.
It's possible.
And of course, her base is Christian stuff, and you know, I judge a person when they say they're a Christian. I want to see them act like Jesus. Otherwise, I ain't buying it.
Yeah.
I'm not buying it. So anyway, I think
but it's not, James. I think it's real. I mean, so have you identified some of the topics and some of the, the image, the issues in which you want to tackle under your reign at this point?
Yeah, of course. You know, one of the things that bothers me most is that we have a 50% achievement gap between black kids and white kids. In other words, our kids is 50% behind white kids in their achievement in education.
And now it's worse because of the pandemic.
It worse.
It's gotten even wider.
Yeah, so if you extrapolate that out 10 years, our kids will not have a snowball chance in hell of competing in the economic market, in the housing market. Everything that we do rests on our ability, our kids' ability to be able to compete. And make no mistake about it, it's a competitive process in which our kids have to survive. And if they don't have the tools to do that, this young brother just graduated from Portland State.
No, I think it's Oregon.
University of Oregon.
University of Oregon. My bad.
No,
my bad.
That's all right. That's all right.
Don't forgive me. But anyway.
But your point is well taken because the brothers in the mix, man, and we still working with them.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah. So at some point we have to make a decision that we're gonna go all in on closing that damn gap. Excuse me.
Yeah, man. Acceleration. I keep saying the word acceleration.
Years ago, we had this gap, and now we're still sitting here in 2023 with the same daggone gap.
So what's going to be different, Posey? I mean, we done had a whole lot of NAACP presidents, man, that took a shot at that hill or banged the hammer on that wall. What strategies and what approaches are you going to use that's going to be different than anybody else's?
Well, John, you know, I'm an old military guy, Air Force, and been in the military. I can't give you my daggum strategy. but I know you got one because you've been around here too long without one.
Have you?
Just a general synopsis. Doesn't have to be specifics, but a general.
We got to use every tool in the tool belt.
Right. Yeah, man.
You know, and I'll be honest with you. For me, the state has not been doing their job. The Department of Education hadn't been doing their job.
Oh, not at all.
This is a Jim Crow state.
Well, no, Jim Crow State.
Yeah. Oregon is a Jim Crow state.
But it's a blue state.
Yeah. That's what I'm saying.
It is now, but it's a Jim Crow state, just like Carolina.
So,
and they still operate that way.
But listen to me on this just a minute.
Okay.
Just a minute. You know, for the last 40 years, the Democrats have been in control. And people don't like to hear me say this, but all the misery of black people has come under Democrats.
You know, I get frowned on when I say that.
Well, no, I know you get frowned on. So think about me. Now, I ain't trying to carry this
I'm
over.
gonna frown on you right now.
But we ain't gonna start no war. There's only one exit in and the other exit out.
I mean, but the truth of the matter is, the record speaks for itself.
Yeah, man.
They've been in control of this state for the last 50 years, and things ain't gotten no better for black people. I'm not saying that we'd be any better for Republicans.
Okay. That's what I was gonna say.
Yeah, okay, what you say, Gerard?
I was gonna say if Republicans had it, would they made it any better? But he answered my question. So
we daggum sure be in trouble if them rednecks and them MAGA people and all them other people get in. We wouldn't have a snowball chance in hell. But we should not let the Democrats off the hook.
Yeah, man.
Let me say that again.
We shouldn't let nobody off the hook that's in office.
Not let nobody. If things haven't gotten better, we have to hold their feet to the fire too. Right. John,
you got the energy for the run, Posey?
I don't know. I've been blessed by God, man.
Yeah, man. I'm trying to tell you, B.
77 years old.
Yeah, man. Still looking good. Yeah.
Swinging on this thing, man.
Yeah.
So what inspires me is people like this dude right here. You guys are having this meeting, having this conversation.
Yeah.
I do want to ask you something. So, like, going back to the whole education thing, the education gap. There was something, I want to say a year, maybe 2 years ago, came out saying what Oregon's going to start doing is, instead of giving students like the education like in high school, they're just gonna like basically let them go out and graduate even if they're at like a lower reading level and stuff like that. It's like this new thing is basically they're just sending them out, like giving them their high school diploma, but
path of least resistance.
Yeah, they don't have the education basically. So, and they get the paper, but they don't come out with the resources they need to succeed economically in society.
Brother, you understand the circumstances that we fall under COVID and the kinds of imaginations, but as you well know, when you get out here in the real world, and you can't form a sentence, you can't spell what you're trying to apply for. You can put all that to rest. And again, I'm gonna repeat: this is a competitive, capitalistic society. And I've been in construction, I've been in business. Mm-hmm. People gonna hire people that can help them make money, and if you can't read the process or follow instructions based on what you're given, and be able to be creative in your approach to how you do business, think in a dynamic way, you're gonna be in trouble.
Yeah.
You feel me on that? This is not about lowering the standards or anything of that. But we have to keep it real about what our competitive skills are. We don't play that when we get in the NFL.
Yeah, we sure
don't play that when we get. When my boy in Memphis goes up for that dunk, boy, he's going up for a dunk. You apply all those same athletic principles to the private sector, to the market, and so. All these years, people have been working to give us opportunity, and we get to the plate, we can't make a swing at it. Yeah, that breaks my heart.
Yeah.
So you understand what I'm saying, John?
Yeah, I do, James. And in looking at the history, James, of over the last several reigns of directors and chairs of the NAACP, how are you going to sort of dispel the image, man? I mean, because you remember the image of Edie Mondene that was set forth, and then you had Miss Smith, who was the next one, who demonstrated a little bit more of I guess it would be sort of, more of the women's agenda to some degree, would you say?
I would
a feminist agenda, which I say lightly because I know Ms. Gehring, but for you, looking at how are you planning on charting a course to begin to invite younger people? Because all these historic organizations are struggling right now to get young people back to be a part of it, so on and so on.
I don't have honestly, I don't have a magic bullet, John. You talk to my wife. I've been married to this woman for 57 years.
Right.
And you're married to a woman 57 years. She kind of knows you.
Yeah. You think?
And my wife knows me that I've always tried to be around young people. All my crews, everything I do was young people. And young people don't have necessarily the experience, but they have the energy, and they're not tainted by some of the things are out in the street, and they have fresh ideas. And it really encapsulates the whole idea of diversity. I got young, old, and middle. So once you get a crew that look at my installation ceremony. The people that I have chosen to be on my team, it's a broad spectrum of people, including white people and Jews, Gentiles. And I got the Muslim brothers. I was the one who organized the Million Man March. I don't know if you know that or not.
The Million Man Marches.
Would you say the installation ceremony you're talking about?
No, when he was sworn in.
Yeah, sworn in.
Yeah.
And so you look at my crews. They'll be coming out. When you become a member, John.
Man, you keep saying, but I tell you, I'm just a member. I'm already a member in waning. I just need to give y'all some more money.
Well, when you become a member, you'll get all the wink information.
Okay, well, he's holding us hostage, y'all, but that's okay. We see to know what some of his strategy is. But no, James, I am really, to me, it's a real blessing to have a brother like you sitting at the helm over there and inspired to make some great changes. And I guess, as you well know, you're going to probably have to enlist a lot of soldiers and soldierettes to get this job done. So,
but I want to just, continue on the line I was talking about. People have already, some of the women in this thing have already accused me of being a misogynist. I didn't even know what that word means.
And why?
Here's a man, this and that. And I had to take a look at it. And, I'm old school, born in 1946. Mm-hmm. So, a man had to be a man back then. They still do today. Yeah, man. And I'm just that same individual. That's out of the era that I come from. So when you start talking about pronouns and all this other stuff that they're doing out here, I kind of have to take it for what it's worth. But I'm not changing who James Posey is.
No, James, and that's a real crucial intersection right there, man. Because lately, man, you got a battle on your hand. Because at least from where I'm sitting at it at, man, we could see where we came from, right, man? We had the affirmative action platform, and we had all the civil rights platforms, and we began to recognize when they started attacking that affirmative action platform, and then diversity came into existence. And they came to us, and I distinctly remember, man, having a number of agencies come to me, because at that time I was running some pretty black-oriented programs, just specifically, culturally specific programs, and they came to me and they asked, well, are you open to try diversity on? And at that time, I didn't get a sense of what the overall agenda was, but the agenda over the 20-year period of time that it was implemented, and then to recognize that the state of Black America, or the state of Black Oregon, and when we put that one from diversity and the state of Black Oregon together, we found that the data reflected that there was not much movement in the Black demographic on any of those platforms over that 20-year period of time. And then all of a sudden you turn around and here come equity.
Yeah. Well, John, the thing that I wanted people, if they go back and look at who I am, where I've been, all the women that I've been associated with give me deep respect, and I go back to my grandmother. Most black men know if they got a grandmother. Yeah. That's where you found your deep
comfort.
Listen, I didn't say it, but you go back to your grandmother, and the women in your family were the most powerful thing. I'm just being really honest with the men out there hustling, doing their thing. But when you need to have some compassion and somebody to listen to and talk with, it's your grandmother and the women in your family. So nobody could ever tell me that I disrespect women in that regard. I know women can do anything a man can do for the most part, except make babies like we can. Other than that, it ain't gonna ever be no change on women. So I want everybody to know that
that you're not a misogynist.
No. When they look at my program, they look who I'm involved with. I'm going to make sure. See, because you can't be against racism and be a racist in your approach to stuff. You can't fight against discrimination and you discriminating. You can't.
Do you make a difference? Do you make a difference between racism, prejudice, and discrimination?
Oh, of course. For example, I make a difference because a racist has power to affect a person's life. We hardly can be racist in the same sense because we don't, as black people, we don't have that broad range of power to really impact somebody. And discrimination, everybody is discriminatory. I discriminate in my kids. Right. Some of them get ugly.
Some of them I like, some of them I don't.
Understand? I'm discriminating because I get that stick out of them. I'm really discriminating. We all understand.
And prejudice and discrimination are basically individual things.
They're individual things. You can apply it
into the system, right?
The same thing? Yeah, you're absolutely right. But here's a through line is being fair and equitable, being fair and equitable. I mean, when you through line that and you see that you're fair and equitable, I try to treat people like I want to be treated. Do unto others as you would have them do unto you. That principle cannot be overemphasized in how you approach it.
But I guess my thing is, how can you tell somebody about a tree that fell in the forest if you've never seen one? And when I keep hearing them talk about treating someone equitable, I don't even know what it feels like to be treated equitable. So how am I going to treat somebody equitable? How do we arrive to that place of treating others when we got no original?
First of all, the thing that I recognize in all the things that I've been around is that our inability to listen. We're sitting up here having this conversation. I'm running my mouth, but if I don't listen to somebody to really find out what's going on with them, I don't try to internalize where they're coming from, walk a mile in their shoes. You can't make that kind of assessment because most of the time it's all about us.
We talked about that the last
most times it's about us. It's all about
the difference between listening and waiting for your turn to talk.
Or
listening and waiting to have something to say.
Same thing.
So what you asked me what is my strategy? I plan on going out to our members, including you, when you sign up.
Beat me down. Give me the beat down, bro. But that's all right. Beat me down. But I love you anyways. It don't matter to me. That's all right. You had that $35 check on the way out here.
I want to give you feedback. I want to hear what you got to say about how we're operating.
Nah.
You're a member.
Yes, sir.
Hey, member. I want to hear about. I want to at least know whether or not I'm able to address your needs or not. That's another thing. But I just want to know what you're thinking.
Yeah.
If I don't know what you're thinking, how in the heck am I going to actually respond to that? So you'll be getting a survey from this NAACP about how James Posey is doing personally in my leadership role. Not only what we're doing as an organization, but we have to reassess ourselves. If we want to make progress, we got not to be afraid of criticism, not to be afraid of charting a new path.
Yeah.
Now that sounds all philosophical and all that.
No, it ain't philosophical. I mean, there's some truths we got to live by, and one of the main ones we go live by is not so much about what we're going to take off the table as opposed to what we're going to add to the table when we sit down at it.
Yeah.
And so I've always recognized you, Mr. Posey, as a strong leader in our community, man, as a strong advocate. But I do believe you got your work cut out for you, but who better than a veteran, a seasoned veteran, to be able to take the helm at this point in light of some of the difficulties we as a community are facing today. So I'm in support of you and trying to take that on, but you're going to need some more soldiers with you. We all know that.
Well, yeah, absolutely. But John, people say this is crazy, but I really do believe if God's for you, who can be against you?
Boy, now you done dropped it. You done dropped it on the table. Nobody else, but it's in the room. He just entered the room,
So if you're doing the right thing for the right reason with the right people, you have a high percentage of succeeding on where you're trying to.
Oh, man, I got no doubt in you, James. No doubt with that. If you're taking that approach to it, I'm with you.
Yeah, and then I see you guys. I come in here and I see these young brothers and see you.
Yeah, man.
Trying to.
I'm your age.
Are you my age? You're 77 years old?
Yeah, I'm your age. 8 years.
Oh, yeah.
Earlier.
You ain't quite my age then, brother.
Not really, unless you make it.
Wait a minute, man. Wait.
You know what I mean?
I'm just playing.
Oh, I got that.
Okay.
So, but you got any questions? Anybody else got any questions for James while you there?
About Dr. King saying that he believed he was leading his people into a burning house when him and Harry Belafonte was in a hotel room.
Say that again?
Dr. King said him and Harry Belafonte was in a hotel room and he looked troubled. So Harry Belafonte asked him, "What's wrong with you, King?" He said, I feel I've led my people into a house that's burning. Why do we as black leaders don't want to admit that integration messed us up, man? Because we had our own movie theaters and all that kind of stuff.
Well, that's an interesting question. We're talking about gentrification over in Northeast Portland. I've been living down there on Rodney and you know where I did, down on Rodney and Stanton, right across from all them three churches. There's more devilment down there between the three churches than you ever want to see. But the truth of the matter is, we were forced into those areas. White people, we wouldn't let us live anywhere else.
Redlining, all
that stuff.
We were forced into it. It's not like we made a choice to live in Albina and do all that thing. They wouldn't let us go nowhere else. So we had no choice.
We were in Vanport and then come up.
Yeah. So I don't want to, I think we have to help black community, but at the end of the day, we have to recognize that's where we were forced to. And then me as an American, I want to be able to live anywhere I damn well please, just like white people.
James, what does the NAACP mean to you in all these years of your participation, and now that you're at the top of the helm in this chapter? What does the very inherent definition or construct represent to you?
It represents a legacy that people have died for.
Lots of people.
Blood has been shed. When I talk about these other groups, all these people from overseas and everything, at the end of the day, King was shot. Rosa Parks, all of them down there, all the legacy, them brothers that went down to Mississippi for the Freedom Ride, they dead. Emmett Till going down whistling at the white woman. This is blood that's been shed. I don't know if people really understand that people have died to get us to where we are right now.
Used to be, as a member of NAACP, the members, it used to be much more secretive, because once you were a member, you were also a target.
Yeah. And that's still to the day. As a president, I can't see the membership roster for that very reason. Right. If the KKK get a hold of the membership roster and wants to target our people, there's quite a bit of secrecy over who's a member and who's not, et cetera, and for that same reason. Wow. But I got to tell you, my heart breaks. We're coming up on King's holiday, and I have to take a deep breath. I wonder what King would say about what we're doing right now. Yeah. Would he be pleased with what we've done with his legacy? Would he be happy with the progress we've made? What action would he take now when he look around and see all the things that are going on? And would his heart be broken? Or would he be satisfied with our performance as black people now that he shed his blood? So that's the thing that swirls around in my head. What can I do to make King and all those who have died for the legacy of the NAACP feel good about how we move forward in this organization? So you asked me that. No. And then there's the other thing.
The legacy of our father.
No, here's another thing. I don't want to pull out my little phone here, but I got a little 18-month-old grandson.
Wow, congratulations, Jane.
When I look at that kid, he run around there looking all dumb and everything.
Yeah, man.
He didn't got a chance.
Yeah, the innocence.
Somebody's out here like you, me, and all the other people are fighting for his existence on the face of the earth. Because we I hate these environmentalists talking about, climate change. We on the verge of extinction if we don't do something about it.
Oh boy, you just magically. Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
We have to do something about our position in America. Now, make no mistake about it. Me and my son have this argument all the time, and I agree with him that we still live in the best country on the planet. But that being said, it's all relative, because we're still on the low
totem pole of all of the benefits that this country has to offer.
Are you
So
saying?
that's where I'm going.
Are you saying the best country for Black people?
Well, I'm
Very
saying,
good question.
if you look at all the parameters, I've been all over the world, and I've been to, I've been in the military. I was in Germany.
I lived in Germany.
I was in North Africa. I've been all around the world. We still have the highest standard of living of any country. I mean, I wouldn't want to live too many other places. I can't think of too many other places where I would want to live. And I've never really lived in places like Ghana, which people tell me has some real opportunities and so forth. That's our homeland, Africa. But I've put my stake right here. I ain't letting nobody take me nowhere. If I want to go to Africa, that's my choice. But at the end of the day, I've invested in this country, and I ain't letting nobody take my privilege of being an American away. That's just how I feel.
Man, rightly so, James, and I'm so appreciative of the service that you've rendered, over the years, and continue to endeavor to support us, to grow us, to commit your life, your legacy, your family, your finance, your time to the advancement of us. And hey, man, much respect and appreciation for you in this effort, man. And I do appreciate you taking a minute to come on the show, man, and shout with us about some of these things, man. But I can tell you, I will get you that $35 check before you get up out here. But more importantly, you'll get my commitment.
Yeah, John, I really
man.
appreciate that. And I'm kind of disappointed. These guys ain't beat me up or nothing. They ain't asked no questions.
No, well, they about to, because it's just, they done sat and listened to you for a second. But the posse, I didn't open the door to you. I was trying to protect you for a second there.
Giving you the benefit of the doubt and the respect that you talked about right from the beginning.
Okay.
And when you mentioned Martin Luther King, King was one of the people that would always say, do you have a problem, or does the problem have you? Mm-hmm. And he talked a lot about that. And I have been in places where Martin Luther King was, down south, because I was born in Carolina. Mm-hmm. So I hear what you're saying, but the question I always have is, do you know that it has only been in the last 14 months that the federal government has outlawed lynching?
Yeah.
And it took an executive order by the president that's there now to do that.
Yeah.
A lot of people don't know that. It's very important, because not outlawing lynching means to some degree that it's okay with a lot of people.
So, brother, I'm getting the sense that you're asking me. We really haven't come that far since slavery, That's what you really are saying.
That's not what I'm really saying. That's what you're really hearing. That's not what I'm
what are you really saying then? I'm sorry.
What I'm really saying is, I come from a place where I'm always considering the color of law.
Okay.
Law is the thing that pushes us down more than anything. The minute I step inside a court, Bubba knows this to be true. Mm-hmm. I'm guilty before proven innocent. You know what I mean? So so it's not about being a victim, but it's about recognizing that when I say that this is, I built this country. We built this country. So yes, we belong here. But you remember when Lincoln died? You remember who was the took over as president?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Who was that?
Some Jefferson guy. It was some guy.
Andrew
Jefferson. Johnson. Johnson. I'm sorry.
Andrew Johnson.
Yeah. Okay.
And he was a slave owner.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
So he turned back everything in the Civil War. He turned it all back. He pardoned like 10,000 Confederates.
Yeah.
And we are under the yoke of the color of law. And I can make all kind of moves all day. The most important thing I can do, though, say I go over to this brother here, or I go over to Bubba, or I go to Jarrell, the most important thing I can do is start to ask questions and be a part of their lives and how they look at the world.
Yeah.
I can't dictate to folks.
Yeah. So I'm still trying to get to your point, and I'm just being real.
Well, my point is that we can sit here and we can talk about all the things that we haven't done. Mm-hmm. We can talk about how far behind we're on the educational scale and all that. But until we can learn how to love and care about each other, I worked out in the Columbia Villa for 10 years, gangsters, right? Mm-hmm. When are we going to learn how to love ourselves enough to move forward?
Yeah, I'm certainly in line with you, and that's why I was so attracted to Farrakhan and do for self. Take care of your own community first, and I'm still in line with it. I'm just trying to share with you. I worked out at Columbia Villa. I was on a construction crew out there. Typically people didn't even want to go out there because it was concentrated in black people. People were afraid to go door to door out there in Columbia Villa. So you're not talking to anybody that.
No, I know.
I understand that, but I understand that. But listen on this. When I was signed in and I saw people show up to my installation, people who I casually run across, they showed up in support of me and the organization. There is a deep understanding that we do have to love ourselves and appreciate who we are. We have to be proud of how we've gotten to where we are, and we have to take care of ourselves.
How?
We take care of ourselves by investing our time, our energy, and our money on the streets with our people. Like you guys got.
That's all right. But
you guys.
But the executive director.
The name of the organization you're with.
Oh, I'm one of the founders of the Miracle School.
Well, the Miracles is a good example. I remember when Salzman was trying to get the thing.
He's the one who
right.
The money.
Yeah. So there are people over here. He's one white man, but what about the black people? I'm the person who really got the Elks remodeled the first time around.
Okay.
That's our. We have to love ourselves to be willing enough. I must have spent $20,000 of my own money trying to remodel that damn. And I couldn't go in there and get a hard drink off of them joints out there. So when you give yourself to your community. And when you begin to make sacrifices for your family, and make no mistake about it, our community is an extension of our family.
Well, no question. But you're talking about what we need to do, but I'm asking you, how do we learn how to love ourselves?
Well, here's what we got to do. We got to be with one another. I learned to learn my grandfather, although he cussed me out every time he said he told me I wasn't worth 2 dead flies. Every time I worked with him. But I learned to love him because I saw his commitment to taking care of his family. I was with him every day. I'm on his garbage truck, throwing garbage off the. I learned the man. I learned why he had to come up from the South. You have to learn your history, what they have to go through, see the pain. See the pain.
I'm a gullah. I know that, but I'm always interested. It's sort of like my mama taught me when I was 12. She died when I was 16. She sat me down one day and she said, "Just because you're my color, don't make you my kind."
Well, that's absolutely right. That's absolutely right.
So we're not homogeneic. We're not all the same.
We're not monolithic.
Question.
We're not monolithic.
Yeah, but I get a little bit uncomfortable when they start dropping that, because when they start dropping that's implying that we don't have principle. The thing that's say that again.
When they start dropping what?
When they start dropping that whole part that y'all was just talking about here, that part that says, hey, there's this fragmentation, or we're not monolithic, we're not one of a kind, we're not all the same. Yeah, we get that part of it, but it almost implies that we can't come together and stand under one principle for a common cause.
But let me just overlay.
No, I'm not saying that you are, but that's what it seems to boil down to most of the time.
Let me try to overlay this. You all 10, 15 years back when we had Crack Alley up on.
Oh yeah. But nobody wanted to drive down Alberta.
Nobody wanted to go to.
Right. Y'all understand that? You understand that?
Few of us did.
We go to Reverend Williams Church.
So guys,
Cecil, right?
I heard some of them brothers who I know was doing crack. And as a consequence, they stole my equipment to get their due. They did everything imaginable, but I didn't stop hiring them because 1 or 2 or 3 of them broke through from that. They had enough respect for me to do my work and still not steal from me the way but other white people would not hire these dudes. Their record was too bad. So when you start talking about love,
it's a love for my people. I have to make that sacrifice, and I still came through okay. Those are the things that when you start talking about how, you have to invest in your own people. How do you expect anybody else to invest in your people if you're not willing to invest in your people?
No question.
I mean, and even
without a doubt.
Even Jarrell, you had something you want to make comment real quick?
I was just yeah, okay, I'll ask the question. So, you saying, you're hiring, crackers or whoever, and then you talk about like white people don't. Do you ever feel like the people that did take from you stuff like were taking advantage of you, like or anything like that, during that time?
He was taking advantage.
Well, I fortunately for me, I used to work at, I was one of the first drug and alcohol treatment black treatment counselors at Walla Walla State Penitentiary.
Oh, Washington.
Washington.
So I understood the issue around drugs and dependency and how it takes.
That was Leo
life.
Piccoli and them cats up at Hilltop, man. Tacoma. That's where that all come out of the Indians.
So you have to understand, and you already know.
Well, I do that now. I'm certified by the state now to deliver drug and alcohol services.
Yeah, I did that in Walla Walla State, and so I understand that people have, these addictions. It's just like anything else. We are frail human beings. You got to understand where they're coming from. Mm-hmm. And
but James, when you're looking down that pathway, man, and not to interrupt you on that part of it, but that's another pathway where I see that there needs to be some momentum. I mean, this issue around gang violence and the killings that we got going on, the domestic stress that we got going on. I mean, substance abuse is a main core issue of it all. But how are we going to begin to, or are you looking at these issues and topics as a member, as the chair of the NAACP today?
Yeah, I was just going to tell you right from Jump Street, I'm going to be down at the legislature trying to get these records expunged for cannabis, and people don't want to acknowledge. So you expund the record, so these brother stays in jail for 10 years. What's going to make up for that?
Yeah.
How do
trauma?
Yeah, trauma.
Yeah,
what's the
all
reparations
that
for these
yeah.
brothers who were in jail for stuff that these people were selling cannabis right down the street from you now, making millions of dollars off of it? This brother went to jail. He's got a felony
right.
on this thing.
The color of law.
His whole family has been destroyed. His or her whole family's been destroyed. Who's going to address that? They can't piecemeal that. They have to come correct on how they make these brothers and sisters.
Right on.
So
right on,
that's
James.
something. These are huge issues.
Make no mistake about it.
White people ain't gonna want to do that.
No, they ain't.
Oh
boy,
they ain't gonna want to do that.
There's no incentive for them.
Who else could do that better than the NAACP? Who has the national presence to be able to bring those forces to bear on these so-called liberal white folk, the Tina Kotex of the world? Who best can do that, John? Me and you.
That's
Everybody
right. Come
sitting
on
around this table
Come on, man.
can bring that home to them.
Yeah.
Nobody's going. Even our black politicians ain't going to go on there because they want to get their next election. But you and I. We can't be afraid.
You can't afford fear.
You're unapologetically black.
That's right.
That's what it means to be unapologetic.
Man, I ain't mad at you, and I ain't apologizing.
That's what I'm saying.
You know what I'm saying? But I will be standing down there with you. I know that.
No other stuff y'all got?
No, man, we got some more stuff. But anyway,
I got one. So
here he goes. I'm scared of him.
You the youngest amongst us, right?
So we talked about legacy earlier, and when I'm hearing about legacy, my thought immediately goes to, okay, how do we continue this legacy? And I know that my generation, that's our job now.
That's right.
So my question to you is, what is the NAACP doing, to continue that legacy and getting, my generation, the black youth, involved, so then we can continue making that path that you've been doing.
So I think a brother like you got the right career path. John understand this. The Bible says something like our people perish for lack of knowledge. And having the ability to share
what the good things are about our community and our history is very important, because they want to put it under the ground. They want to cover everything black people have done good up. This whole CRT thing is no accident.
Critical race theory.
This critical race theory. They don't want to be confronted with all the things that we've done as black people. Next month is Black History Month.
It's been outlawed in 6 states.
Yeah, well, so that's, in many parts, that's our fault. We ought to press the agenda about how great black people are. We have to get that out in front of our own people. We have to convince our own people. When I was going to school in the 50s and 60s, they had Tarzan and Jane and had us run around.
That's right.
And that's embedded in me. That's a tape that's embedded in the kid about us not being able to do anything good on the planet.
Like Amos and Andy.
Amos and Andy.
There was all this bullshit going down. Yeah.
You young people who have the ability of technology and internet and TikTok, instead of y'all being on there shaking y'all's booty and putting your titties out there, excuse my French, put the stuff on there that's meaningful to change our mindset about who we are. You ask me how you can do that? I'd like to see your program out there talking about the history, about when these guys are out here rapping, rap about something that is meaningful for your children, because you're gonna have some. Trust me on that. You're gonna have.
I plan to.
Pushes me.
So I plan to.
I know you are. So you got to be thinking about your destiny. You're talking about legacy. Think about destiny. So forward-looking stuff is just as important as looking backwards of what we've done. You put those two things together, you got a powerful agenda, young man.
That's well put, James. Man, and I do believe that I don't think we'll ever get the status quo to acknowledge their contributions upon the trauma that lays within us. And I would think that before they do that, before the system, before quote-unquote white America, capitalism, however y'all want to see it, Republicans, Democrats alike, I think that before they acknowledge the contribution, before they accept it and embrace it and publicly acknowledge it, they'll probably make us disappear before they acknowledge that. It would probably be a better effort to just move us out of the way, so they don't. Because if you go all around the world, the biggest message he has to hear in reference when he starts preaching his salvation or his righteousness, the first thing the world says, we can't acknowledge you because we see the way you treat your people of color. So with that said, James, we aim to support you in treating the people of color with some dignity and respect. And we do appreciate and support the fact that, hey, look, man, like the sister down there who was Black Lives Matter down in Oakland, when I was listening to her get an interview, and the cat said, well, I understand you pushing for reparations. And she says, yes. And then the cat says, well, if you did get reparations and you had a bag to give your people, what would be the first thing you would put in it? And you know what the sister said? She said, I'd put an unlimited mental health card in their bag first.
Yeah.
So
that's a good thing. I just want to say to this young man right here, right on the table today as we speak, we have two black members of the school board right here now. Critical race theory is not being taught in our current public schools. Our black kids are isolated. They don't have no idea what their history is. If I was a young person out here today and I wanted to impact this system, I would be at every school board member. I would organize a process by which we would be in front of the school board to make sure that black history is taught, and taught in such a way that really tells the truth about who we are as black people. And it would be good not only for black people, but be good for white people.
For the country.
So be good for everything.
Yeah.
Right here, we have two black school board members who don't have the support they need to have to push an agenda to benefit where we're trying to go with our community.
And I don't believe equity is going to help us get there.
Okay, so.
But anyway,
y'all
let's.
Y'all understand what I'm saying?
Hey, we do. And again, folks, y'all, we appreciate Mr. James Posey coming on the show today and sharing with us his wisdom and insight. But we are certainly looking forward to some strategic changes and development over his reign at this point in time. Hopefully, he's going to help lead us into some answers to our questions. Again, Mr. Posey, we appreciate you coming on the show today, man, and thank you very much. And you have a wonderful afternoon.
Thank you.
Yeah, man, and congratulations again. Life is moving in the right direction, as I see.
Yeah, press on, John.
And much respect to you too, Mr. Posey.
You're doing a good thing.
Thank you, man. I appreciate you.
I'm closer to your age than I'm not, so.
Doesn't really matter, bro.